was fun.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but it's like, I don't know, you have to do it for the style. All right. Also, we are beginning. So hello, everyone. My name is Cameron. I am a CPA here at Colleges 9 and Colleges 10. And right now we are doing the spooky version of Variety Hour. So we're going to be talking about ghost stories and all that good stuff. The person here with me is Jordan. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, y'all. I'm Jordan. I use him pronouns, and I'm a UCSC alumni.
Yeah. So Jordan used to work here at Colleges 9 and 10 as well. He used to be my coworker, and we're just going to be talking about the good stories that we've exchanged back and forth. But before we begin, oh yeah, by the way, I'm she, they. Those are my pronouns. So anyway, the first thing that I want to talk about is PA programs. So that's programs assistant, and that is what I do currently. And what happens is that you are employed back to activities team, and you're allowed to throw events, throw programs, all this big scale stuff. You've got a budget. We are currently hiring for 2 positions. So that's open for fall quarter. So I highly recommend that y'all apply. We're still looking for some great people. It's a great team. It's a paid position all year. And yeah, I really think that y'all should apply. On top of that, we are also looking for CGs. CGs are college guides, and essentially what they do is that they're more collaborative than the PAs. Well, PAs are still collaborative, but CGs basically work together, and they make welcome week, and they make Frosh feel welcome. If you are a Frosh, or if you've been here at UCSC for a while, you probably know what a CG is. You've probably worked with them. They've probably helped you out, guided you around campus, all that good stuff. Applications are still open for this year, so I highly recommend that you also go for that. And there are 2 other positions as well. The other one is Tech Crew. So Tech Crew, we didn't have it last year, but that's because we were all online. But usually when you're on campus, there's a group of people, they all work together, and they help set up programs and events. So let's say we're doing a movie event, and you see people setting up like the screen and stuff like that. That is Tech Crew. The boss is really cool. Again, it works with activities, highly recommend. And finally, we have Terryfrida's Cafe. So Terryfrida's Cafe is a very chill place where you can go hang out, study, play some pool, whatnot. Very low-key vibes. And if you wanted to be in charge of that, or if you wanted to stand besides the counter and like sell food and stuff like that, this is a great place to do it. And application date is Tuesday, June 15th at noon. So apply. Alrighty, cool. So now that that's over, let's talk about our relationships with the supernatural. I just talked a lot, so Jordan, would you like to go first? I can go if you want.
You can go first, actually. Yeah.
Oh, fine. Okay. So, me personally, I am not religious, but I was raised to be, or at least have a lot of views that align with, I guess, the Buddhist perspective of religion, spirituality, and stuff like that. I am agnostic, which means that I don't necessarily believe in like a higher God or whatever, but I do believe in spirits, spirituality, and essentially ghosts and stuff like that. And, sometimes my friends call me superstitious, but, that's just how it is. So yes, I believe in ghosts. I think that they're there. I believe in reincarnation. But I also believe that some people can be stuck here for a while. And I don't think, well, I don't know about this, but I don't think religion necessarily dictates what happens with your spirit. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Again, who knows? Clearly we're alive, so we'll never figure that out until after we die. So yeah, one of the main things about me is that I will never play a Ouija board. I don't care. That's like a big no on my board, or on my list. Like when I first moved into Santa Cruz, I was like, we're not allowed, no one's playing a Ouija board in here, and I don't give a shit. Like that was on the roommate agreement in giant letters. That was my only rule. That was my only condition. So yeah, that's a little bit background of my perspective. What about you, Jordan?
Okay. Yes. So that was awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
Alongside with your Buddhism, I'm actually I was raised in Taiwan, so I was raised in this kind of like fusion of Taoism and Buddhism kind of like environment. But also growing up, my 3 of my uncles and my grandpa are actually the Taoism kind of like ritual master, you know, like when people pass away, they will be like guiding them to the other world and like all those kind of like rituals. And I kind of grew up around that. But my relationship with kind of like the spiritual world is that sometimes I can see stuff and sometimes I hear stuff, I dream about stuff, but not all the time, obviously. But that's just kind of my personal experience. So, yeah, so later on in my life, I will be seeing stuff, hearing stuff, and like, that's kind of like how it goes for me. And I don't necessarily don't believe in any religions, but also like I'm open to all religions, just like Cameron. So yeah, so I'm just here and open-minded.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jordan. And that's actually why I selected you as the person to talk to about this today, just because you have, I guess, a different perspective than some other people. Personally, like my mom is more spiritually aware, I guess you could say, of ghosts and stuff like that than I am. Like I can walk into a haunted house and not really feel anything, but for her, she gets this weird vibe and then something follows her home. Like that's going to be the source of a lot of my stories. And for you, that's kind of similar, right? Yeah, unfortunately for you. I like being blissfully unaware. It's so nice. Okay. Do you have a significant like ghost experience that you want to talk about, that like maybe your first ghost experience or something that's been like prominent to you? I can go first if you want.
I think you can go first, and let me just think about that.
Okay, yeah. So for me personally, as I said before, I don't really experience ghosts a lot, even though I believe in them. I very much believe in them. But there is one thing that happens like when people die, is that sometimes they'll visit your loved ones in like your memories or in your dreams, actually, right? So sometimes a figure would appear and it's like, oh, that means that they've passed away. Not necessarily, because obviously like I dream of like my friends and my family all the time, but sometimes it's significant enough where it's kind of like they're giving you a message. So my mom always talks about how she used to have a dream where she got into college and then her deceased grandpa came over in her dream and just like gave her like a nod of approval, even though he didn't say anything. And she didn't understand what that meant until later on that day. She got the letter and then she was like, oh my God, I'm like accepted into my university, that type of stuff. So it's kind of like she didn't know that was happening until like her grandfather knew, essentially, before it even happened to her. So there's that. My experience is actually with my dog. So my dog passed away and we had to put her down just because of old age and stuff like that. But she had a very strict schedule. When she was starting to get senile and stuff like that, she needed me to tuck her into bed. And it got really annoying because she would basically be asleep from like 8 o'clock at night going forward. But if it was around 11 to 2 a.m., she would wake up, walk to my room, and then scratch at my door, right? She'd scratch and scratch and scratch until I got up, walked her to her bed, which she just got up from. And so I would she'd go back into her bed, I'd kiss her goodnight, and then I'd tuck her in. Like that was it. And then I'd go back to my own bed. She did that every single night. And it was really annoying sometimes, especially since I was like already on my way to sleep. And then she's like scratching at the door. I'm like, oh my God, you stupid dog. Anyway, I miss her. But we had to put her down because she was getting old. And then every night around the same time period, like midnight to like 1 a.m., my fire alarm above my door would go off, even though it only happened when my door was closed. So we were like, why is it like chirping? Like the battery, we've replaced the battery a million times. We even replaced the entirety of the fire alarm. It keeps going off, but it only went off on her schedule and only if my door was closed. So we were like, okay, that's weird. So I would have to open my door at night, even though my house is fucking creepy, which I can get to another time. But yeah, so she kept doing that. And then I went off to college, but they had to leave my door open just because the fucking fire alarm kept going off. And then I come back and then I'm sleeping on the couch. It's in the middle of the day, right? Sun streaming through, like it's bright. And then my dream was that I was facing like outward to the couch. And then my dog just comes by. She just walks up and then I just pet her. And she's been like deceased for like 3 months at this point. And then she like walks away, right? And then I wake up and I'm in the exact the spot where I was like petting my dog, except I'm facing the opposite direction. So there's no way I like went from one way to another. And then after that, my door stopped chirping. Like that was like her final goodbye. Like, hey, I've been stuck at this house. I just wanted to like let you know. And then she like left. So I thought that was really sweet. I really do think that was like her final goodbye. Just because like, I was like, oh, wow. Like, why would I dream of my dog like that? And it was such a simple dream too. It was just like me petting her and her walking away. So yeah, that's my story. What about you?
She was still there and she just waited for you to say
yeah.
goodbye.
She was just waiting. So I was like, so I finally just pet her and she went off. So
all she wanted was sleep on the couch with you.
And she just wanted a kiss goodnight. And even though I was like, oh my God.
That's so cute. Wow, that's so sad.
Yeah, that one's more of a heartwarming story, but yeah.
It's so heartwarming. Yeah. You know, that actually reminds me of the after quarantine started for like 6 months, my family finally, decided to get a dog. And it was like a Maltipoo, whatever it was,
Yes, the stereotypical Asian dog.
The stereotypical little white puppy, and then we call him Mochi. And the first time we got Mochi, like the moment we got Mochi, I was actually concerned because she was like abnormal. She had abnormally large, like kind of like middle body, like her belly, and then on our way back home, picking up Mochi, just me and my mom in the car, I was asking my mom like, do you think Mochi is healthy? Because I don't know. I'm not sure. Because like, it looked like she doesn't look that normal, right? And then that day was just perfect. It's just like sun's shining through, right? We're holding our dog for like how many years? 7, 8 years. And like, I was so excited. And we brought back home. I introduced this dog to like every single friend I was talking to, and like everyone was so happy. We bought him a cake, we're like, let's celebrate this, we videotape everything. And then I think it's on till the next day, Mochi started to get really tired, and like his pee was like really yellow, and like the store is like really soft and stuff. And we started getting really worried, right? And then from that night till the next, till the next week, the whole week, I think I was staying with him the whole day, like 24/7 whole day, because I was really worried about him. And on the seventh day, that night, she just like, he doesn't eat at all, so we have to like syringe like water in and syringe food in. And I remember I was hugging him by this gigantic bowl I had in our living room. We just have a huge ass bowl right in front of the TV, and that's where I sleep with Mochi. And that day, I was hugging him, and he kept whining. It was around 2-3 a.m. and then I saw two people coming in to our living room. They were really tall, big, really tall. And then at that moment, I don't know what happened. The words just came out from my mouth. I said, please, I don't think I'm ready yet. I don't think he's ready yet. I just give me one more day. Just give me one more day. I was hugging Mochi like this. I was like, just not today. Give me one more day, right? And they left. I was hugging Mochi, and I had a Buddha kind of bracelets here, like I always have it with me. And later that morning, we brought Mochi finally to the vet because we cannot afford it. Vet is so expensive. We really cannot afford it. We don't have insurance, we don't have anything, but we're like, let's just go to the vet, right? Because walking is really difficult in pandemic as well. And we finally found a vet that that's like let us walk in. And we walked in, we give him a bag of like what is that thing called, like the thing that gives you like nutrition and water, IV? And they put it in the back of their neck.
Yeah, I think it's an IV.
Yeah, it's an IV. Yeah. And after that drip, we're like, okay, I was feeling really good, right? I was like, we finally see a doctor. Me and my mom went back home, right? And then my mom was like telling me that what if Mochi doesn't make it? I was like, if anything, I don't want him to, you know, pass away in my hands. And my dad actually called home, like he called us and be like, Jordan, I have one thing to tell you. Like, you know, last night actually, before I came into the house, I paused. I like as I parked my car in the basement, right? I wasn't listening to radio, but radio suddenly played this song, and like, you know, like played this song like about pet cemetery, and then that's when the moment it all kind of linked up, because why all of a sudden, like, you know, you'll be listening to Pet Cemetery, and then you know how the story of Pet Cemetery is all about, like, you cannot let go of this cat, or I don't know, I forgot, it was this cat, right? And then there's this daughter, and then they try to, like, they don't want to let go, and then they're trying to revive it, and then like the story is messed up, and it's just I just have a really bad feeling.
I like how you're bringing up the horror movie when you're talking about your dog.
I know, and my dad never seen that movie, never heard of it. He's like, Jordan, what is Pet Cemetery?
Yeah.
And then I was just like, you don't want to hear about it. It's just about letting go, and like that's basically the moral story, just about letting go. And I remember we brought Mochi home. I took a shower. I walked down, and then I saw Mochi on the ground, and she looked really cold. So, like, you know, she wasn't blanket, but she still really looked really cold. So I was holding her, and I saw the two shadows again, and that moment, my sister was still upstairs studying, like in class, and then I just know, you know, like there's a moment you would just know, like it stops, and like Mochi stopped breathing, and I was just staring at him, and yeah, and I know he passed away. And I wasn't sure what to do, you know, like I don't know how to do CPR to the dogs, right?
Yeah.
I was just trying everything I was can. I was just, you know, I was like, okay, let me do CPR, right? And then, yeah, I mean, it gets kind of gross, but like he passed away, and like there's some dog water in my mouth from his mouth, like after he passed away. But you know,
Oh, that's so gross. Okay.
but it's so sad because yeah, but that's kind of it. Like I don't think we got any of us got to say goodbye to Mochi, but you know, it's those two shadows that let me know that, you know, it's time for him to go, and like he was like prepared and everything. Yeah,
I'm sorry about your dog. I know you were excited for him. Yeah. That's interesting. You saw two shadows, and then both of the times you were like, hey, not right now, but interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty. See, stuff like that, like it almost like it really does align with a lot of the things that other people have seen. Kind of like, I don't know. I just in my head, like maybe that this isn't it, but it just reminds me of like the conspiracy theory of like Men in Black, where it's kind of like or they're just like, okay, time to forget, and then they're gone. But like, you know, stuff they handle stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Okay. I'm going to pivot into Santa Cruz ghost stories, and then we can go into stories from there. But if we want to go back to personal ghost stories, we can definitely do that, because I've got more. I've got one about a floating baby. So,
baby.
Yeah. It's because my mom comes back with stories about the hospital, and it's like, I realize I don't want to work in a hospital, because that's just a place where a bunch of people die. That's almost worse than a cemetery, because that's just where the body is. But like, people actually die in the hospital, so their emotions might be tied to it. Anyway. Okay, so in Santa Cruz, there are multiple ghost stories, and Santa Cruz is known for like a couple like hotspots, you know, for like spooky activity. There are two on-campus ghosts, or at least deaths, or actually I don't know about deaths. Anyway, there are two ghost stories that frequent Santa Cruz and among its student population. And then I'm going to say what I have read off the internet, and then we can talk about how it's been related to what we've seen in real life or what we've heard from other students, right? So the first one is about Sarah Cowell. She was the youngest daughter of Henry Cowell, that's what Cowell College is named after, obviously. So she lived at the ranch, and then she died in through the carriage. So like, I think the horse stopped pretty suddenly, and then she fell out of the carriage and her neck snapped instantly. So now there's like stories about her dying, or like her ghost still haunting that area. So that's one. The second one is actually pretty interesting, and I think it has the most relevance to stories that I've heard and then you've told to me before, Jordan. So It's Lily from the Haunted Meadows. Basically, she appears. Sometimes she's got rags on, or maybe she's naked. And apparently, she's around the 70s in Porter College area, right? And sometimes I'm just like, do I believe everything Porter College kids are saying? Because I don't know. Anyway, but so some people at Porter College have said that as they've lived in the dorms, sometimes they felt someone strangling them at night, and they've made the claims that it's Lily from Porter Meadow. So that's something that's been circling around. I don't know. Do you have any experiences with that, or would you like to tie anything you've heard?
I heard, well, I was an RA in Porter during summer, and I heard like Porter A building, like right next to the dining hall, the very ground floor. I hear that people always hear a person walking there, right? And like it's like in a room that's locked. And I heard that people died there. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure if it's the same woman, but like I hear a lot of dying story around Porter.
Yeah, I think someone did suicide around Porter B building. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Porter. Maybe it's maybe it's a psychedelics, maybe it's not, who knows. It's also, a lot of these stories come from like the 60s, 70s, which is when those movements were like at its peak. So we really don't know, but there's stuff like that. So Jordan, I know you have a story about seeing a lady on the bridge.
Oh,
yeah. Would you like to say?
Yeah. Well, but yeah, that's a long story. I mean,
No, I mean we got a full hour, so you might as well.
But yeah. Wait, before I talk about that though, have you seen the chairs in Porter Forest? That thing is spooky.
Chairs?
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't think I've seen that one. Oh wait, are you talking about the Porter Meadows? And then there's that thing in the back where they built like the fortress and stuff.
What fortress?
No, it's not like a fortress. They just took a bunch of sticks and they like built stuff with it. It's
Maybe
where Porter
there,
Meadows
like...
is. That's where.
You know how Meadows is there, right?
Yeah, Meadows is. Yeah.
Okay, and Porter Caves is kind of like down there a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, and like there's like a forest here by the meadow, and this is Porter, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, and this is Squiggles is here, right, and the forest there, and I don't know why, but some people thought it's a good idea to put like a circle of empty white chair around, like a circle of it in like the forest. I don't know, like it feels like an invitation to sit down, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And then be sucked into some cult activity or something like that.
It's like, what are they inviting? Like, I'm not sure, but I thought that was really spooky. So like, definitely check that out though. If like once you get back on campus, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'll see if I want to go explore that. I don't know. Sometimes stuff happens at Porter. I'm just like, yeah, it's Porter College.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Oh, the lady.
Go ahead.
Yes.
The lady.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So see, do I use their real name, or do I use a pseudonym, or do I use person A?
Do you know are you talking about the name of the ghost?
No, it's not the name of the ghost, but it's like it all started with my friend's dorm. In my friend's dorm, it all started there.
Okay, I mean, if you don't want to say I'm sure you can say their name, because if you want to, that's up to you. Or you can just like abbreviate it. So if the person's name starts with a K, you can call them K.
Okay, wait, let me recall what their name is.
Oh my God. If you don't know their name, you can just say my friend.
My friend. So I have a really good friend. This one I can say. I have a really good friend, B. Let's call him B, right?
Okay.
And B is my really good friend living in College 10, and he has two roommates I befriended with, right? And so basically one of B's roommates has like brain cancer or something.
You say that so casually. What?
Life, you know.
Okay.
One of B's roommates has brain cancer. The other one is just another one. Another roommate. Roommate J. J doesn't sleep at night. He's a typical Santa Cruz student. He doesn't sleep at night. I don't know what he's doing. He's not studying for sure. He's just scrolling through his social media, right? And I took a class with Jay. So Jay's kind of be telling me like, he's kind of like my little angels about like what B's life is in the room, right? So he's been telling me that like, the roommate with cancer and my friend B will do a lot of weird stuff when they're sleeping. For example, the brain cancer roommates will like knock their head onto the wall when they're sleeping.
The fact that you keep saying
this is not funny.
I know it's not funny.
It's not funny.
Okay, keep going.
And roommate B will like keep like doing this to the wall. What is this action called? Like hitting the wall?
Yeah, just banging on the wall. And he'd be
like saying like no, stop, and like in both English and his native tongue, right? And then he's been telling like roommate Jay's been telling me that been happening for a while, right? And then one day, me and roommate Jay actually finished a class we had together, our finals, and then we decided to, take some U-bike in the Santa Cruz city with like 2 other people. So as we take our bus down, he was telling me that, he was like, dude, like your friend B and like the other roommates, like, they've been acting like really aggressively at night now. And like yesterday, he was looking at his phone like 3 a.m. ish, right? And then as they were doing that, roommate Jay was doing this on his bed, right? His top bunk, right? And then he said, I saw a woman kind of like flowing through, like he was like this, right? And this woman just kind of like calm on top of him, like, kind of like crawling on the roof, on the ceiling like this and looking through him. And he was like, I just ignored her, but he's like, roommate Jay is like, I feel like she's been in our room for a while because of all this like night activity. And then right after we finished that, I feel so uneasy and I feel like the chill in my backbone. Like if you ever feel that, it's like a real chill, like from the bottom of your backbone to like whole spinal cord up. And then I just try to say it really calmly, but I didn't even turn. I was looking straight ahead. I was like, hey, Jay, do you think she's right behind us? And then I didn't even say the direction yet. I just said behind us, right? And then roommate Jay was like, yes, on our left, right? I was like, yes, right on our left, behind us. I was like, yes, exactly. Yes, there. And then the roommate is like, yeah, I think she's here right now. And then I'm a naturally really happy person, right? There's no doubt about that. But then we went on some U-bike, right? I kind of just forgot about how we got on the bus, right? We take some U-bike, right? It was a beautiful day, and I had so much fun, right? And then we went back to our dorm later, and later that night, around like 11:30, I felt so not sad. I cannot express it. It was just heavy. I feel so heavy. I was like, oh man, I need a walk. I was like, I really need a walk right now. So I got out and I decided to take a walk from the bridge between College Night and the engineering building. Kind of just like kind of like it's a round walk. Like it's nice. It's chill outside. It's nice. And as I was walking, it was really dark. Santa Cruz is super dark, and then we're just walking. And then you can see that on the bridge, on both sides, there's like beacons, right? And like little lights on top, right? Like that. And then as I was walking, I have this habit of staring my shadows. And I walk, like, you see shadow pass because of the distance of like each light. And then upon the second light, I start seeing another shadow behind me. And then, it's normal, right? Someone might just be behind me. So I turn back. I was like dramatically turned back because kind of scared, not gonna lie. I saw a woman. I saw a woman that I feel like I've seen her before in the bus, but like I didn't see her. Like she's familiar. And like she has a long black hair with like white dress. I cannot see her face. And like it was kind of blurred, but like it was so clear at the same time. And then I just like turned back like to front and I was like, okay, holy shit, I need to go, I need to leave, I need to dip. But then I want to make sure if like I didn't miss see things. And I was like, I turned back again, she's gone. And then I was like, fuck, I need to look down the bridge. I looked down the bridge and I was hoping I wouldn't find something, but I was hoping I would find her too. So I looked back, looked down, but like, you know, she just disappeared. She disappeared for a little bit. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my way back. And then the story kind of ends later that night, around like 12:30. I feel like working, so I go into this behind the what is that room where activity office always work? The resource room.
Resource room, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to the resource.
Oh, you went there and there's a ghost following you. Oh.
Yeah, I went to the resource
God
room. I was on my own, and then I was using this computer on the left, like facing the wall. And I don't know why, whose idea is that, but there's a freaking mirror on the computer. I was just like, why is there a mirror? And then I feel like someone's watching me through the mirror. And I made eye contact with her. And then in my mind, I was just like, oh dear God, you know, I was just hoping she would be gone.
Yeah.
And then I just made eye contact with her briefly, and I left again. And then all I could think of in that moment is that I need to go somewhere. There's a lot of mail. There's a lot of like, you know, kind of like, what is it called? The sun energy. I don't know if Western believe in that.
Wait. By mail, do you mean like the mail room, or do you mean like men?
Men.
Okay.
I need to be somewhere where it's a lot of like, so
masculine
like in Chinese,
energy.
we have this belief that women is like moon and men is like sun.
Okay.
Type of thing, like in terms of energy, like, you know. And I was like, okay, time to go somewhere where a lot of men's are. So I was like, let's go back to my dorm, right?
Yeah.
So I went back to the dorm.
Hey boys, what's up?
I was like, okay guys, I think I'm sticking with y'all tonight, because I never stay in my dorm, but like that night I decided to stay in my dorm. And I think that's almost the last time I saw her, but I don't remember. But that's the last time I saw her. Yeah.
That's good. She just decided, she's like, I'm gonna follow this one around because now he knows about my story. Let me just stalk him on the bridge. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Do you think that this person that was following you could maybe have been the Lily person with who was at Porter College, or do you think it's like a different entity? That's
a good question, because you said how she died was like her neck snap.
No, so that's Sarah Cowell. I don't know how Lily from the Meadows died, but apparently she's from the 70s Porter College area. Apparently she's seen either naked or in rags. But this is a lady with a white dress, so maybe honestly, it's different.
It's in white dress?
No, you said that yours had the white dress.
Okay, I was like, yours? Yeah, that was
no.
That was the white dress. I was like, hell no. Mate, I don't think we see a lot of things. Like, I think America is so big, you know. Like we rarely see spirits. You know, we rarely see spirits, and like there's usually like just some in like big area, and I think there's a possibility, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't try to like talk to her at all. I didn't try to talk to her, nor is that, you know. Yeah, it's usually they talk to us, not we talk to them. So,
okay. Have you ever tried to talk to a ghost before?
Yeah, I have.
Did you regret it? No.
It usually comes in form of dreams.
Okay.
So, yeah, sometimes I remember it, sometimes I forget, but I don't think I regret it. Well, I'm well alive right now. So
you're like, I'm still here.
I'm still good. Yeah.
Okay.
But when I get really scared though, I would just close my eyes and imagine there's like a golden kind of like armor or shield around me. I would imagine myself as protected. Because, you know, it's all in your head.
Yeah, at some point you're just psyching yourself out. So, also heads up, we have around 30 more minutes. So congrats, we've made it to the halfway mark. All right, interesting story. And I'm definitely going to ask about, Christian's talking to me. Anyway, he said, don't react. Whatever, I didn't read the whole message. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, all right. Have you heard of, okay, so I forgot how or where it is, but apparently along one of the trails, I think it's by RCC, so Rachel Carson College, apparently if you walk there at night, when it gets pretty dark there too, I think there's lights, but it's like it's supposed to be pretty creepy, that some people say that there's like a ringing of a bell or whatever. And then people, like, you have to get out of this, like, a girl's way or something because she's riding a bike. I'm not entirely sure. I've heard this like once or twice though. Do you know more about it?
Are you talking about like the place, like the garden-ish place that's not garden, right next to their apartment, but like also media center, like somewhere there?
Media center-ish area. I think it's also where the staircase is.
That place is so spooky.
Really? Okay, I don't know. I don't sense anything. So what do you get from it?
I don't know. It's just scary. Like when I walked by, I was telling my friend, I was like, can we not walk near there? Because like we were in the middle, right? So I was like, can we just not walk near there? But that place is spooky. That place is spooky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get some vibes there. Obviously that there's something, like there might be something there.
It might be something.
Okay. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Have you heard about the ringing of the bell?
No, but there's a bell there, right? I remember something.
Okay,
like that.
well that one's for the Pacific Coast Highway, I think. I don't know.
Ooh, really?
Like where the missions. Yeah, so this was actually a controversy. I think it was when we were both like in school, like present next to each other. I think it's called Camino Bell, so it's like a landmarker, and it goes all throughout the PCH or Pacific Highway, whatever. And it's basically like, oh, this is really cool. It's a historical landmark, but it was put there by the Spanish, and a lot of people have had issues with it because it's like, this is a colonial thing. The missionaries weren't like, woohoo, this is a great thing for Californian people. Like, it's like, no, this was strictly colonizer behavior. So that was the removal of that. So that was the bell. But I'm talking about like a, what's it called, like a bike bell that you can like a little ring and then you'll be about your day. I don't know.
Are you talking about the kid who got into the car? Well, I don't remember his car accident, but one of the accidents, and is on the big way and with a bike there, and like.
Oh no, I've never heard of that. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So you know the base of campus here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a way down to the base of campus. Actually, on the side of the road, someone has passed away just a few years ago because of a car accident, and he was on his bike, I think, and I don't think anyone noticed, or I don't remember what exactly happened, but there's a lot of like people like writing notes, right, and like just putting there in memory for him, yeah. But I thought you were talking about that when you were talking about bell and like bike.
No, I'm talking about like Rachel Carson area. Anyway, this is just something I've heard. I just wanted to know if you've heard anything about it.
No, yeah.
Well, if you haven't, that's maybe to the listeners, maybe you can do some research, see if that's actually true, or if I'm making something
Submit
up.
your story to Colleges 9 and 10, UCSC 9 and 10 Instagram, you know? You'll be invited for the next stream.
Hell yeah. All right. I think we can actually talk about Elfland and Fairyland just a little bit more, because that's where College 9 and College 10 is. So before College 9 and College 10 was built, it was basically this like forest area, really pretty. And it is sad that basically this part of the forest was destroyed for architecture and for our buildings, but also at the same time, it's like the university did need to expand. So that's the great thing about having a university on a national park. Like, I don't know. That was an interesting choice. It's cool, but it's also at the same time, it's like you really have to work around like nature, preserving it and stuff like that. Anyway, so there's this area called Elfland, and it's supposed to have like more magical elements to it, more spiritual stuff like that. And there's actually a lot of history on this. I personally don't know it that much because I did not read it. I think there's a handbook you can get at the UCSC bookstore. That basically you can go through, and it gives you the history of Santa Cruz, or UC Santa Cruz at the very least. But a lot of students were mad when they started constructing College 9 and College 10 because it was going to destroy this area. Now, a lot of them claimed like, oh, this land is spiritual, stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure how much of it was spiritual, because during the 60s and 70s, a lot of them were just hippies who wanted to use that area for their late night fiascos. So it was a very popular area for a lot of people to gather and stuff like that. So I think that if you asked someone who actually knew the land, knew the spirituality behind it, and some of like the native tribe members there, then they would give you a more accurate description of what fairyland was. And they probably didn't fucking call it fairyland. I will be honest. Like that's something that UC Santa Cruz students made up. If it has any spiritual connection, then that's the person to talk to. But as far as the students go, it definitely was the place where they took psychedelics. So there's that. And that is what Fairyland and Elfland is, which is why technically the mascot for C9C10 is a fairy, or at least for activities team, we have a unicorn. This is unofficial because it's kind of like forgotten history. No one really knows about it unless you go through it. But yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. So you had an experience, not in the dorms, but in your apartment. Right? Would you like to talk about that?
Oh, okay. It's actually in the apartments on the hill, like next to the hill.
So that's by the ILC. That's C9 apartments mostly.
Yeah, it's like next to the mountain type of place. Yeah. Oh, what happened that day? That day, let's see. It was around 1 a.m. ish, and my friend A, she was like, "Hey Jordan, come over. Let's do some tarot cards readings." And like we're bored and we're just college students looking for some fun. It was like, okay, let's go. And then we went to her apartment. It was on the bed, right? On the bed in the living room.
yeah, she had a bed in the living room.
Yeah, I was like on the bed, and there's another friend. I think just 3 of us, and we were like doing tarot cards, right? And as we were doing tarot cards, the wind was feeling kind of strong that day. It goes like woo woo woo, and like the door goes like the door just goes like something. It feels like something is keep trying to open the door. That's how it sounds like, right? And then we're doing a tarot cards reading, and then I got really tired. I was like, hey yo, I need a 5 minutes break, right? And then during the 5 minutes break, we got kind of bored, right? And then the girls was like, hey, let's just open that door to see what's on the other side, because it keeps making that squeaky sound, like something, like someone's trying to open the door with a key. Like that's the sound that was making.
For context, for people who have never been to the C9C10 apartments, how heavy duty is that door? Like, would this have happened normally?
No, it's heavy.
Okay. Yeah,
it's heavy. I cannot open it.
Yeah,
I'm a big boy. I cannot open it. But that door is pretty heavy. And let alone that, like, making that key sound, I just don't think it's like, that usual, right?
Oh, my dog, by the way. If you can see her butt. Yes.
Hi, Jordan.
Sorry to interrupt. No, that's not Jordan. That's Jordan is my actual brother. You are Jordan from Santa Cruz. Okay, continue on.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. And then they were just like, let's open that door. I was like, don't open it. Why would you open it, right? Let's not open it. I was like, don't open it. I've been saying that for like the past 20 minutes before the break, but I was like, I still say don't open it. And they were like, no, let's just open it to see what's on the outside, because, it's annoying, like, and like it never happens. So like they wanted to stop. So like they open the door, open the little quick, right? And I was trying to see what's outside, and there's nothing outside, and they quickly close it. And at that moment, my friend A is in the kitchen, so it's like right across like the living room taking something. The friend M, who just opened the door, sat down right next to me, and I was just lying on the bed like this, kind of like looking at my phone or zoning out. And then 10 seconds after they opened the door, I turned my head right next to me, like here, and I jumped. I was like, ugh! I jumped. I screamed, and I saw a little kid. I saw like a little boy smiling at me, and like, I don't remember, he was just looking at me or something. And then I jumped, and like, and they're like, they both jumped, right? They're like, what happened? And then the roommate from the room came out, be like, what happened? And then we were like, oh, nothing, right? And then the friend M was like, Jordan, what happened? Did you see something?
So M, who was right next to you, didn't see the boy.
Didn't see the boy.
Yeah.
But the friend A, who was in the kitchen, opened her eyes really widely and said, Jordan, tell me what you saw. And I was like, what? I was like, what did I see? And she was describing exactly what I saw. She was like, it's around this height, right? I was like, yeah, what? And then she was like, it's a boy. That's the moment we were like, oh, it's a boy around that height, there, right there, like, right next to us. And then we all got spooked out, and like I was like, and I was just thinking, oh, maybe that's what was used, doing the door. Because like before we opened the door, we didn't see anything, right? Honestly, I didn't sense anything either. And then moral of the story, play with tarot cards as you wish, but don't do it intensively. Don't do it too much.
Okay, well, hang on there. I just realized that the way that the camera cuts off, I don't think anyone on the live stream actually saw my dog, but you did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because of the way. Look at the video, the way it's framed.
I was because
because it's smaller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I remember the very first time I met A, I think they were teasing me for the fact that I believed in ghosts. I think that was a full ass argument that we had. Like, I was like, I've never been so heated meeting a new person in my life, right? And I think it was on ghosts, and they didn't believe it, right? And then the fact that now A, your friend A, has that experience of going, hey, did you see a little boy?
Yeah,
I think is really fucking funny, especially since you didn't even want to admit it because you're used to like, oh, we're just not going to talk about it. Like that scared the shit out of me, but like not acknowledging it.
Yeah.
But I want to say that tarot cards don't necessarily invite spirits. Does it? Does it not? I feel like it just reads you. I don't think it invites them in.
Yeah, it
right? Yeah, like a Ouija board would invite the spirits because you're calling them through. Yeah. But tarot cards is just like looking inward, I suppose. Yeah. So yeah,
energy, for tarot cards. Yeah. Have you tried meditating or like anything like that?
I haven't tried meditating or anything. I mean, I don't know what it means to like meditate and like get in the zone because I've never been like fully meditating enough to do
you feel
that.
like there are wheels like spinning and stuff like that?
I've never had that experience, so I wouldn't know.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. Like that you told me that story and I was like, I am so creeped out to be in this room right now.
Yeah,
sitting on that bed, I was like, why did you tell me this? I'm like, I didn't need to know that. What did the boy look like though? Was it like, what time period?
That's the thing. Like, I feel like it's always a blur, but like when I think back on it, I have the image. I have the mental image of it. Like, there's no way within that 0.1 seconds I can see his whole face, like, or I can recognize or memorize it. But like, as I think back, I can always remember like just a very general face. But I don't think that's his face, though. I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe that's the whole thing with spirits, though. You're not really supposed to see the face. It's not really supposed to be clear, but it's more like that's why it's always like an apparition.
It's a little boy. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I've got a story about not necessarily a little boy, but a small like baby infant boy. So my mom works at the hospital, right? And she's actually NICU. So that's a nurse that takes care of like the super sick babies, the ones that are born premature and stuff like that. So this mom gave birth to this kid, right? And I don't think the mom was present. Either she died or she wasn't taking care of it. Either the way, the baby was isolated. And because it was a pretty hard baby to take care of, it was one nurse assigned to that baby because it was so sick. And it was like, it was going to die. It was like destined to die almost just because it was like born that premature. And so my mom was like, she was the main caretaker for it. So she would take care of this baby, stuff like that. And then it eventually died on her. And then like she goes home, things turn as normal. But the weird thing is that whenever everyone in that household was together in the same room, weird things would happen. It didn't happen when we were all like, it was only two people together in the room or like a single person. It was only when it was me, my mom and my brother were all in the same room, and then my dogs would react. So at that point in time, I had my little dog Dachshund, and then a big pit bull, right? So both of them would they would just be hanging out with us, but when all three of us were together, they would look up into the ceiling and start growling. And it's like, why do you do that? Like, sometimes there's a squirrel on the roof and we get that, right? Like, we know, but usually you can hear the little like they're running around, and it's like, God, you're so fucking annoying. Or it's a rat. So that has been fun. It's been like, oh, fuck, it's probably a rat. But either way, it's like a small critter, and you can hear them. Like, you can hear them on the roof. But we had like pretty high ceilings too, by the way. So they would just like look up and they'd start growling. And it's like, okay, maybe it's a squirrel, right? This happens so often, and we've lived there for a full 13 years. Like, it only started happening like recently, like during that time period. So we were like, oh, what's going on, right? So finally, like, it got to the point where my mom was like, I feel like there's something watching me. Like, it's like this constant presence, and the dogs keep acting weird. And dogs are supposed to be sensitive to this type of stuff, right? So we got scared to the point where no one wanted to sleep in their own room. So my mom took a mattress, put it in her room, and we all slept together. Like, one big happy family in the room. So my little Dachshund, is by the mirror on the floor. And then my big dog, the pit bull, slept on top of the bed because he was able to jump up there. And trigger warning, this does get a little violent, but that's just because it's like dogs being violent anyway. So it, like, the dogs are asleep, right? Like, everything's dead silent. And sometimes the dogs bark, but that's when the people are walking outside, right? Like, that's normal day behavior. At once, both dogs shoot up, and they both look at the exact same spot at the wall, right? By the mirror. So then they're just staring at it, and they're just like, they're looking. So we're like, hey, come on, it's okay. Like, and we're kind of like coax them away. And then my small dog growls, right? She growls at the mirror. And the thing is that it's not like, oh, they're looking at their reflection. Like, my dogs don't give a shit about their reflections. There's multiple mirrors in the house. They don't give a shit. Like, they understand that that's them and whatever. Like, they've recognized that. They kept growling at the mirror. And because my dog was laying near the mirror, she like growled at it because she was right there. So then my big dog comes over, and then he starts getting aggressive, and then they get into a dog fight, right? And it's like, why did my dog react that way? Because they were acting fine. He was dead asleep. She was dead asleep. Like, why did we have to suddenly take my small dog to the hospital because there was a dog attack? And understandable, like, my dog was a little aggressive, and that's a different story. But yeah, so there's a lot of dead dog talk on this. Yeah. This live stream. But no, okay, no one died in this situation, but it was like to the point where my mom was like, that's weird. Like, they've never reacted this way toward each other before. Like, we've never had never had issues with those two fighting like that to the point where it got violent. So then there was a whole situation with that. Like, stuff kept happening. Like, my mom would see stuff in the mirror. She'd get some more sleep paralysis. Like, she felt like someone was watching her. There would be little fingerprints on the windows and shit like that. So it was kind of creepy. Yeah. And so finally I was like, I don't want to get involved with this. I'm like, you're the one that's haunted, not me. So then, like, during one of the days that I was out of the house, she invites my aunt, who is more spiritually aware than even my mom is, and a bunch of Buddhist monks. Like, they all come into the house. They're doing prayers and stuff like that. Like, we had to offer fruit offerings for like months on end, do incense and stuff like that. Nice. My aunt, cleanse the house. Like, my aunt comes in, she goes, oh, it's kind of weird in here, right? Or maybe she's just saying that because she's also kind of a weird person, but she was just like, she's like, oh, and I was like, okay. And then they light the incense. They're all chanting and stuff like that. There is no... Okay, when you light the incense, the smoke goes up and there's no like wind blowing or anything, right? My mom sat at the far end of the table. The smoke came directly to her face. Yeah. So it was like, interesting. So that eventually cleared up, but that took months of fruit offerings, of like having to like I don't understand how this works because I feel like it's more, there's more power comes when you're a natural person chants, but like they gave us a little pre-recording of a bunch of Buddhist chants and we would have to turn it on. And I'm like, is that effective? Like it's technology. I'm like, I don't even know if that like works, but I'm like, okay, this seems a little fake, but that's what we did for like the longest time. And like, it finally kind of cleared up, but at the same time, we haven't had issues because we moved, right? This isn't the house that I'm in right now. That's not where I lived when I was a kid. So it's been simple. Like we haven't had any issues, but we've always had issues with ghost followings and like spiritual stuff always in that house. So I feel like it's also an energy thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There was just a lot of that. I don't know if you've had anything similar to that, but also we've got like 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
Wait,
I have one last question.
Yes.
Do you think dog can see spirits?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not spirits itself, but I do think that they can read at least the energy of something, because you've got too many stories of animals like responding or reacting to something. You know, kind of like even in like movies and stuff like that, if the dog stops and starts to growl at something, don't check it out. You go, all right, cool, and you walk the other way, and guess what? You live to tell another day or tell another story. Like, I don't know. People are like, knock it off to the dog and then let's go explore it. Like, no, are you trying to be the main character of a horror film? Then congratulations, you did exactly what it needed to happen. I don't know. That's weird.
Just run by into your bed and put blanket over your toes and tuck in.
I'm like, there's no ghost here. Yeah. Okay. Here's a final question. Would you ever play a Ouija board?
I always wanted to, but my mom always forbids me from.
You know, your mom is a smart woman. Yeah. Okay. Wait. You're already more spiritually prone. What makes you think that would be a good idea?
It's just, aren't you curious?
No. Okay, well, I don't know. I think I've got enough fear to just not.
Like, I want to find out what happened.
What? Here's the thing: you don't know who you're inviting. Like maybe you think you're talking to like your dead grandma, and then it's, hey, by the way, here's some 50,000-year-old demon. Like, and it's like, yes, I'm your grandma. Hello, my name's Agnes or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea, but that's up to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, well, I think we have one last minute. But
okay, one last minute.
Do you think that when it's time, it's time? Do you know when it's time for you to go?
I mean, I think that works if you're dying of old age. But if you're like in an accident, then it's like
flashback.
You can't really control that unless you're like in the moment about to die. I mean, obviously you're gonna know when you're gonna die because maybe you're in the process of like falling off a bridge or something. Like it's like, this is it because I can't get out of it.
I see.
I do think. What?
I don't know.
You're like, I know this week I'm gonna die. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess. Because you say you believe in reincarnation, right? I was just like, oh wait, so when you're gonna die, and like, what's leading you into your next life, type of thing, like.
Oh no, I believe in the consequences of your actions, like kind of building up, like almost like a morality thing. So it kind of determines like how you end up in your next life. Kind of like you are on some level judged by the universe, and then that determines your next life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
All right, so we've got basically a minute left, so I'm going to wrap things up, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's here, who's watching. I wanted to do a quick shout out to an upcoming program. So if you go into colleges 9 and 10 UCSC 9_10, that is the C College 9 College 10 Instagram, and basically we will be having a K-pop watch party. So it's for Dead Week. It's for all those stressed people, all those stressed students. So if you want to go join this watch party, it's on Discord and there's more information available. Yes, it is that one. Then definitely check it out. Oh my God, there's a spider on my wall. I'm about to kill it. Okay, nope, that fell. Anyway, there's a spider in my room somewhere. Cool. All right. Thank you so much for watching. And did you want to say any last words, Jordan?
No.
No?
Thank you all so much. Yeah.
All right, cool.
for having me.
All right, and I'll see y'all another time.